Hello, Jefferson Avenue artists. I am ready to answer your questions. I asked you to ask Mrs. Holloway anything and to email me your questions. And let me say, I received some really awesome questions. I'm happy to say that you made me think. And I hope that I can answer your questions. And so let's get started. So the first question I received was from Haley F. And Haley wants to know, what is your favorite piece that you created? This was a tough one. This is really hard because I have so many favorites. I had to give this some thought, and probably I came up with this one. So hang on. This is my current favorite. And I think I know I've shown you this one. I showed you this one in the video, my first video. And I'd have to say that this portrait of Piper is probably my favorite piece. So that's the one. That's the current favorite because it makes me happy. My little Piper girl, my fur baby. All right. So thank you, Haley. And this is my favorite piece. Let's see what else we have. My next question comes from Elizabeth C. Now, Elizabeth has two questions for me. The first question is, do you believe there is other life in the universe and why? What? Elizabeth, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure that there's other life. I do know that I love to watch that show, Ancient Aliens. So I do kind of enjoy learning about that stuff. And you know, I enjoy people that might believe that there are other life forms out there or that aliens have visited Earth. But I really don't know. And I can't really answer that one very well. I'm sorry. And then she asked me, Elizabeth also asked, what is your favorite thing to doodle? My favorite thing to doodle. That's another tough one. I enjoy doodling a lot of different things. Probably if I were to just sit down with pen or paper or pencils, I would just start to doodle all sorts of little things. So here I have a cat that I doodled. I like to doodle flowers and animals and eyeballs and favorite thing to doodle. Oh, here's another. Here's my Piper. I love to doodle my Piper. Oh, these were my feet. I was looking at my feet. An eyeball. So lots of different things are just fun to doodle. And sometimes I like to just doodle and make patterns and lines. So something like this. Always fun things to doodle. Faces and noses and eyeballs and all different face parts. So doodling is great practice. Practice, practice, practice. That's how you get better at art. So just doesn't matter what you doodle, as long as you doodle and you practice. So thank you, Elizabeth, for those questions. Made me think. Ross C. Ross asks me, what is the most fun thing you have drawn? Most fun thing I have drawn. Again, another tough one. It's hard to pick favorites when there's just so many things. I showed you this in my other video. This is my art journal book that I like to just kind of play with and draw different things and play with different materials and paints and papers and different ways of creating. So most fun thing I've ever drawn, that's another tough one. Boy, I don't know that I can give it a favorite, but does it have to be drawing? Because I really like painting and I really like photography. So I would have to say when I was in college, I took several photography classes and, oh, my helmet, woof. And I really had fun with this series that I did. A series of photos. You're going to say, Mrs. Holloway, you are wacky. So I took some pictures of chicken. Yeah, I went to the meat counter and I got some chicken and I took some black and white photographs of chickens. And let's see. Oh, here's some chicken legs. Oop, like that. Let's see. Oh, this one's creepy. These are chicken feet. Ah, that is just bizarre. This was a really fun series that I did with photography and something I did a very, very long time ago. If it doesn't have to be drawing, I'm going with that series of photos that I did. They were really, really a lot of fun. All right, so let's see. What else do we have? Adelina W. wants to know, when you were a kid, what was the most popular thing to draw? For me, the most popular thing to draw probably was my dog. I've always really, really enjoyed drawing dogs. And I had a dog named Polly, and she was a miniature poodle, miniature black poodle. And when I was a kid, I would doodle Polly all the time. And I would draw her something like this, because poodles have curly hair, right? So I would draw like her top knot right like that. And then I would draw her ears, something like that. And then I would draw her nose like this. And make the rest of her body. And poodles have those big poofs on their tail, like that. So I'm going to say that Polly, my dog, was the most popular thing to draw, at least for me when I was a kid, when I was your age. That's what I like to draw. So that's Polly. Let's see, what else? We have Jenna, Ethan, and Jacob R. want to know, what is your favorite thing to draw or paint? And again, I still love drawing and painting my dog. Now, my dog, I like to use photographs and I like to paint her. I already showed you my painting of her. And sometimes I like to take photographs and use a program called Photoshop. And I like to take dog heads and put them on human bodies. Now, I did that in my painting that I showed you, but let me show you some of my photographs that I've done like that, because I think these are totally fun. They're a fun thing to do that I've done. So here is one of my really first ones that I did. So these two dogs, this is my parents' dog, Chloe, and this is my old dog, Maddie. And I took their heads and I put them on the bodies of these humans in this photograph. That's kind of cool. That's a ton of fun. Let me show you another one that I've done like that. These two dogs, again, this is my dog, Maddie. And then this is my parents' dog. This is Phoebe. And there they are. I put their heads on human bodies. And my little baby Piper, there she is with her head on a human body. I don't know, just something I like to do. A little wacky, I know, but hey, Mrs. Holloway's a little wacky. You have to be. When you're creative, you have to be a little wacky. I think. I don't know. So let's see what else we have here. Next question came from Tommy. Now he asks a few questions. He asked, why are ostrich eggs so strong? Well, Tommy, I have to tell you, I had to do a little research to find out the answer for this. So apparently, ostrich eggs, the shell of ostrich eggs are like 2 millimeters thick, something like that. Ostriches are the largest bird on earth, right? So they have to be strong so that they can support the weight of the ostrich sitting on the egg to hatch. I guess that's why. I hope that answers it, Tommy. I'm not sure. You're trying to challenge me, aren't you? The next one, Tommy wants to know, why do you like art so much? I have always liked art. I just like creating. I like colors. I like the way art materials feel. I like the way art can take you places that are not real. So I've always really liked art. I think that there's so much art around us, the beauty of the world, and artists can take that beauty and try to create new things with it. So it's kind of like magic. That's one of the reasons why I really like art. And then Tommy wants to know, how do you choose who is in the art show? And again, this is a tough one. I'm really sad that our art shows were canceled this year. First of all, that's something that made me really sad. We have the 2 art shows. We have the kindergarten through 2nd grade art show, which every kindergartner, every 1st grader, and every 2nd grader have one piece of art in that art show every year. And I try to put a variety of pieces in that art show, something of each project that we've done in that particular year. And then the district art show, that's the one that makes it really tricky, because that one is of all the schools in Fairport. So it's not just Jefferson Avenue, but it's Dudley and Northside and Brooks Hill and Martha Brown and Joanna Perrin and Minerva DeLand and the high school, along with Jefferson Avenue. So each art teacher can only pick a few pieces from each school to have at that art show, because there's a lot of kids and there's a lot of talented kids. So that one gets a little trickier and a little harder. But what I try to do is I try to make sure that everyone has at least one piece of art in that art show at least one time while they're at Jefferson Avenue School. So I try to pick out some of the best pieces. I look at, what you've done, and I try to, again, have a real variety of kinds of art projects that we've done. All right. Now, Jonathan P. wants to know, his question is, where do you get all of your colors? I'm not really sure what Jonathan means by this. So I'm going to say, maybe, Jonathan, do you mean, where do I get all my paints that are so colorful? Because colors, that's a whole science. There's a lot of science in color mixing and the way our eyes see color. But I order all of our art materials from different art supply places, and oftentimes I'll order a whole variety of different kinds of colors in our paints and our tempera paints. And then Mrs. Holloway isn't always just satisfied with the colors the way they come. I do a lot of color mixing of my own, and those are some of the colors that I give you to work with. So that's where I get my colors. I don't know. I hope that answers your question, Jonathan.